A boy stumbles upon a strange bug on the playground, an organism even his well-versed biology teacher has never seen. The mischievous boy accidentally spills water on the creature, which unexpectedly revives, showing signs of life. Placing it into a fish tank, the bug miraculously comes to life, sprouting numerous red tendrils and revealing its transparent skin through which its organs visibly pulsate. The teacher can't resist touching it. The bug swiftly duplicates itself, creating an identical copy. No one anticipated that this tiny creature would have teeth. The teacher, bitten but unfazed, neglects to seek medical attention. That evening, the headmistress, just finishing her work, is intercepted by the coach.
Harassment has a really fine line, Coach. Haven't you read your handbook?
I've always wanted to do that.
She manages to break free and dashes towards the school gate, only to find it locked. Meanwhile, the coach's eerie silhouette emerges, closing in. Just as she believes she has locked him inside, granting herself a brief respite.
I always wanted to do this.
The next day at school, the coach who attacked last night acts as if nothing happened, incessantly drinking water in his office. The principal, who was attacked, appears completely unharmed and present on campus. The other teachers and students are unaware of these events, but there's a noticeable oddity, an insatiable thirst for water at all times. The boy, after washing his face in the shower, sees a pair of bony legs step into the bathroom. Calling out yields no response.
Mrs. Broom, what the fuck?
An elderly teacher, absorbing the steam, leans on the boy. Assuming the teacher is scared, he gently comforts her, but suddenly her hair along with the scalp is ripped off. The incident is quickly covered up by the school. The dean orders the witnesses to stay silent, dismissing it as a rare skin condition. Casey, watching the coach drink water outside, senses something is wrong. He informs his friend, Anna, the school newspaper editor, who persuades him to sneak into the teacher's office for a scoop. They hide in a closet, but witness the coach and dean gulping down water and splashing it on their faces. A nurse enters, and the two pounce, cornering her. Terrified, Casey and Anna watch another terrifying creature emerge from the closet, almost wetting themselves in fear. The commotion alerts the monsters. They knock the creatures down and escape the office, only to be confronted by the principal. Unaware she's also one of them, they try explaining the monsters in the office. However, the coach and others appear normal. Frightened, they flee, noticing the monsters don't chase them. Casey calls the police and brings his father to school. The principal, confident, opens the closet, revealing only a training dummy. Despite Casey's insistence, no one believes him. At this moment, the headmistress stepped in and led the officers into the office for a detailed explanation. To the others, everything seemed normal. However, when the officer emerged, Casey realized that he too had become one of them. After this blunder, the creatures became increasingly brazen. They first turned all the teachers into their kind. They then started to pull students aside under the pretense of health checks, infecting them as well. Casey and his friends saw this but were powerless to stop it. They shared what they had witnessed with their close friends. Initially, their friends were skeptical, but the atmosphere on campus grew increasingly eerie. More and more students and teachers had vacant, lifeless expressions. When Zeke saw his usually mild-mannered homeroom teacher suddenly turn seductive, he began to believe Casey's story. Casey then realized that the origin of the bizarre creatures might be the strange bug he had found. He took his friends to the lab, only to find the bug in the fish tank had disappeared. The biology teacher who had first encountered the bug, locking the door behind him with a sinister look in his eyes. Zeke sensed something was wrong and tried to leave, but the teacher shoved him away. Casey's friends tried to intervene but were easily overpowered. Zeke grabbed a paper cutter and struck the teacher, whose severed fingers continued to move like worms, and the teacher remained unfazed. In a moment of desperation, Zeke found a pen in his pocket and stabbed the teacher in the eye. To everyone's shock, the creature writhed in pain, foamed at the mouth, and melted away. The group was horrified, but now understood the monsters were real. They composed themselves and calmly left the lab, aware of the eerie stares following them. Too many monsters had infiltrated the school. The 6 friends quickly got into a car and drove off, ignoring the patrolling officer. They couldn't be sure who was human and who was a monster, so avoiding contact was their best option. They went to Zeke's house to regroup, unaware that the creatures had already marked their scent. Zeke cut off a piece of the creature and placed it in a mouse cage, adding a drop of liquid. The mouse was immediately controlled and lost its will. Zeke then quickly killed the mouse and dissected it, discovering how the creatures operated. These worm-like parasites from another world took control of their hosts and could heal any damage. They fed on the water within living beings, which is why they drank so much. The pen Zeke used to kill the creature contained a diuretic, the perfect weapon against them. However, the worms were not the main threat. There had to be a queen. Their first priority was to prove they were human and eliminate any doubts. Knowing the creatures feared the powdered pen, one person held a gun while the other inhaled the powder. Zeke went first, feeling a rush but showing no mutation. Next was Stan from the school's security team, who was also unaffected, followed by Casey and Delilah. The last two, although hesitant, were forced to comply at gunpoint. It was then that Anna revealed herself as already infected. She destroyed the powdered pen setup and escaped through the wall. The group chased her but found she had backup. They couldn't catch her, but knew it was time to fight back. In just one day, most of the school's teachers and students were parasitized. Tonight, almost all the villagers in town gathered to watch a school-organized sports game. The group immediately identified the principal as the host, given her high status. Using the creature's desire to parasitize everyone, Casey and the others lured the principal into the gymnasium and, when she was caught off guard, tied her up tightly. However, when it came time to act, they hesitated. The principal looked like a normal human being. In critical moments, Zeke is the one who steps up, seeing the principal lying in a pool of blood, but the next moment, the principal stood up straight, and Amy, in a panic, dumped all the powder she had on her. The principal writhed on the floor for a moment, gradually losing movement, and then dissolved into a puddle of blood. Even though they had successfully killed the principal, they couldn't be sure if she was the queen or if the infected people outside had returned to normal. The impatient Stan decided to go out and investigate. Due to the torrential rain outside, visibility was low, and Stan had to lean close to the window to see clearly. After a long wait, they finally saw Stan alive. Casey passed a powder pen through the door crack, as it was the only way to prove one's identity. It was clear that Stan had been infected. From outside the door, Stan extolled the benefits of becoming an alien, even trying to play on their emotions. He finally left in frustration. The remaining 4 gathered to discuss their next move. They had used up all their powder pens. Then Zeke remembered he might have some more in his car. 2 boys set out, but as they stepped outside the gym, they found it eerily empty. Soon they saw a large group of fully armed athletes approaching, signaling the aliens were planning an all-out assault. Casey took the lead in drawing the monsters away, giving Zeke a chance to reach the car. The seductive teacher appeared, her eyes gleaming with challenge and greed. Knowing he wouldn't survive a close encounter, Zeke decided to go all in. He buckled up, floored the gas pedal, Severely injured, Zeke lay on the ground clutching the powder pen. He saw the teacher reattach her head and quickly fled the scene. Back at the gym, Amy and Delilah sat together when the unexpected happened. Amy revealed her true form as the Alien Queen. She had cleverly avoided exposure during the powder pen test by dispersing the powder with air currents. Meanwhile, Casey returned and grabbed Delilah, making a run for it. However, Human speed was no match for the monster, and Delilah was soon dragged into the water by the alien tentacles. In a desperate move, Delilah escaped back to shore and into the locker room, with the alien hot on her heels. Just then, Zeke arrived, finding himself between Delilah and Anna. Each had a different story, accusing the other of being infected. As Zeke hesitated, Delilah attacked, but Casey intervened, locking her in the ballroom. It turned out Delilah had been infected when the alien queen dragged her into the water. Amy was also an alien. Zeke was thrown across the room, knocked out. With the team reduced to just Casey, he took Zeke's powder pens and played a game of cat and mouse with the alien queen. The alien queen, now visibly angry, transformed and started a rampage, eventually exposing Casey. With quick thinking, Casey triggered a switch and squeezed into a crevice. The alien followed, only to get stuck as the seats closed in. Casey then jabbed all the powder pens into the alien's eyes.
Guaranteed to jack you up.
With the alien queen defeated, the parasites in humans vanished. The infected returned to normal, healthier than before, due to the aliens repairing their bodies. This minor epic disaster was finally ended by a handful of students.